Hello and welcome to Sega News Bits. I'm your host George, and with me is Barry.
I see.
And if you want to support this show and what we do here, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/SegaBits. But let's get right into the news bits, which is our impressions of the Shenmue 3 demo, which is basically a trial, I guess, early backer access trial. And they went out last weekend, kind of like on Friday. And I have been outspoken about the PR for this game. I've been outspoken about the way they handled Kickstarter. And before we get into our impressions of the demo, what do you think this was going to be? You wrote that article about how Sega fans are going to remember September in a very nostalgic way this past September.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming you were thinking this is going to be a Shenmue that I have been expecting since 2, right?
Well, I'll admit, when I wrote that article, this was one of the things, like, getting the trial was more of the excitement than...
Yeah.
Just the idea that I'm going to be playing it soon, oh my god. So I was not going into that article with any preconceived notions, really, or guesses. I was excited to play it regardless. And so going into it, I was a little afraid. Like I was afraid it would suddenly become Goat Simulator.
Yeah,
and Rio would just start flopping around on, but it didn't, so that's good. But yeah, how are you feeling going in before you played it?
I was feeling nervous. I was feeling that like maybe they weren't going to accomplish the feel of Shenmue, because it's like a very like point in time when like open world games weren't really created. Like there wasn't a meta of what an open world game is, and Shenmue didn't really follow any of those rules. So I was scared that Yu Suzuki would go back and be like, oh, see, Spider-Man did this and this game did that, and I have to do all this so I could modernize it. I have to like Ubisoft it, as I like to call it, where every Assassin's Creed game and every open world game feels the same. And so let's get right into what we think about it. And personally, it feels like Shenmue. Like, it has nicer graphics. They fixed the camera because, the DC controls didn't have 2 joysticks. They even added a little mini map, but everything still feels like you're exploring yourself. Did you feel that way, or like anything that you like? Did the upgrades take away from the experience of a Shenmue game?
No, I was surprised, and I guess I have to say impressed, that when I started to move around, it felt like Shenmue. Of course, I've played the remasters recently, so it felt a little smoother. It didn't, playing the Yakuza games, there's a lot more fluidity to the character. Like, they move their shoulders, you can move in, like, little S patterns. It's very, I don't want to say loose, but it's very, maybe intuitive. And Rio doesn't feel like he has those tank controls anymore, but it doesn't feel like you're playing a Yakuza or even a platformer. Like, it's very clear that, in Shenmue, your only goal is to move about. It's not like you're jumping. It's not like there are hazards that you need to avoid. So really, it's just a method to move the character about the map and get from A to Z. And so I think in the original games, it felt much more robotic in that sense. And here, it still retains the feel, but it's a little looser, a little more intuitive. The thing that really surprised and I guess impressed me is that I'm so used to being stuck in the invisible walls and everything, that being able to walk on the grass and actually go all the way out to the water's edge and around the rocks surprised me. Did that surprise you?
Well, I guess not, because more modern games do it. I never thought about that until right now you mentioned it. But yeah, it is kind of weird if you think about it. And like, the background graphics are so nice. I hope that the rest of the game looks this good. I mean, there's still a lot of ways you could screw up a Shenmue game. I mean, we could be looking at like literally 1/4 of the game and I'd be like, oh, dude, that's the whole game? What? There's nothing here, the length. So I'm feeling a lot better when I play this game. I also felt like the exploring in the game was really well done. Like, I really like going into the houses like the old game and like checking out drawers. They have what do they call those, capsule machines again? But like,
yes.
Sadly, Sega stuff is not in here. I wish Sega would just allow him to have it, because getting like tennis rackets in different colors is not as cool as getting Sonic the Hedgehog and other niche Sega franchises.
That's true, though there is a Shenmue capsule toy collection, seems like, and a Shenmue 2, probably.
I know, but it's kind of weird. It's really meta, right? You're like, oh, my favorite game, Shenmue 2. That's cool.
It's like, he's holding himself and he goes, I know this. And I'm like, that's you.
Yeah, you know it. And then, like, the biggest change in this demo was the fighting. Personally, to me, I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I feel like it's not as responsive as I want it to be, so sometimes I'm trying to think of moves, but they come out just a tad bit too slow. I'm kind of hoping this is something they fix in the full release of the game and they take feedback on.
Yeah.
But I'm not hating the combat. It's not terrible. But what do you think about the combat compared to the first 2 games?
I'm trying to kind of figure out how the combat works, because it's, to my knowledge, the way it works is that instead of just hitting punch and you punch immediately, you hit punch and then he'll punch eventually, you know, or he'll punch when the opportunity is right. So it's almost like Rio's an AI and you're feeding him like suggested moves to do, and then he'll do them, but he'll do them at his own pace. So it's a weird way. It's almost like turn-based RPG, but without any like menu system, and it just goes real fast, you know?
Yeah.
And knowing Yu Suzuki, I'm sure this is something he's thought a lot about. So I'm sure moving on throughout the game, we'll start to get a real handle on it and enjoy it a bit more. But it is a little jarring to be like, it plays like Virtua Fighter. I'm surprised they actually. Oh wait, no wait. Why is it a little different? What's going on? And I don't know, like, I was button mashing a lot because I just thought, well, if I punch, you know, he'll do better. I don't know.
They also okay, so they had a bunch of mini games on here. Obviously, they had Lucky Hit, the turtle racing. They had I'm trying to think, just a dice game. The Shenmue mini games have always kind of been like that, like very, I guess you could say casual friendly, where like anybody could pick it up. You just like tap A or you tap B. So I'm not giving them a harsh time on that, but I am missing the arcades. I think that's a big component to what made Shenmue what it is.
Yeah.
And I do know that they have other ones like darts coming back that they did not show on here in the demo. So I'm excited, and we also saw the fishing that they teased. You can't really do the fishing minigame, but it's in there.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of exciting stuff on here. Outside of this, it's like, I'm trying to think if anything I missed. Oh, they have a new option, basically, to let you change the clothes of Ryu, which is pretty cool. I don't know if you saw it in the start menu. You could take off his jacket, and somebody said you could get a blue shirt for him. I haven't gotten the blue shirt. But
it almost seems sacrilegious, you know?
That's what I was thinking. It's like making a Simpsons game, and then all of a sudden everybody has their own version of Bart with like a bunch of random things.
Yeah. It seems wrong, but I understand why they did it. It like I looked at it for a sec, I took his jacket off, and I'm like, no, that goes back on. It just seems so weird that after 2 games of not changing his clothes, suddenly Rio's like, yeah, I'll try a blue shirt. And like he'll come back home at the end of the game, like in Shenmue 8, and they'll be like, Rio, you've changed so much. He's like, yeah. Did you kill Londi? No, but I got a blue shirt. How do I look? And they're like, wow, Rio, what a character arc. And
we also had the same voice acting. The voice acting is very Shenmue-ish, so don't be scared that they kind of improved it. It's better, but it's still cheesy enough for you to like feel those feelings you felt in the first 2 games.
Yeah.
They also had a day system. Thank God they have that back, and it looks amazing in this game, way better than 1 and 2. And the villagers also move around. That's another great thing about the game. Anything you want to add about Shenmue 3 demo?
Did we talk about herbs?
Yes, you get to, one of the new jobs you get to do is collect herbs, and you get a map, and then you can collect them throughout the map, and they show you where they're at. Did you do that?
I did. I didn't complete any sets. I don't know if it's possible in the demo to do that, but I liked it. I mean, as someone who has played Red Dead Redemption and the Yakuza games, you know full well you'll like see a little shining thing on the ground, and you'll pick it up and it'll be like a feather, or in Yakuza it'll be like a phone card.
Yeah.
And so the obsessive compulsive in me really enjoys that, and I like that you can actually build little herb sets and then get money for it. The system of exchanging your money was strange to me, but I think that was because of restrictions in certain parts of Asia, from what I remember.
Yeah.
And I guess it's true to China maybe or something, but it just is weird to exchange your money for tokens, use the tokens to play games, and then you win tokens, I guess.
Yeah.
And then you exchange your tokens for money. It just seems like an extra step that is kind of bizarre, but I guess it's like a legal or cultural thing.
I bet it's illegal to actually bet money in China, but you could bet these made up money things. I bet it's something like that.
The other thing I did want to mention, what do you think about bookie? Them saying bookie all the time.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. You mean the bookie with the scarred face? You mean the bookie from the Win whatever place? Yeah.
I mean, I know what bookies are, but to hear them say, like, out of the gate, like, man, I remember the first time I played Shenmue 3. What do you remember? Bookie. They said bookie.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Like, almost at the beginning. We gotta find that bookie.
That's true. The man with the scarred face.
The man with the scarred face.
It was very Shenmue-ish. But
I'm excited to play the game. I wanna get into it at the point that is the beginning, not some weird bookie.
Side mission.
I think that's what I was missing. I was missing a true emotional connection because I didn't know what was going on with the story, and I was meeting characters who knew me and I didn't know them. So I think that part, once you get that, it's going to feel much more fulfilling. But I'll be honest, like, gameplay wise, I'm impressed. Graphics wise, I'm impressed considering this is like the guy who was making mobile games.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's gone to this. So yeah, I mean, overall, are we rating the demo?
Yeah, let's rate the demo. I give it a solid 8 out of 10. I think there's some choppiness around here. There's obviously it's really short, but I think that's pretty solid considering the budget of the game.
Yeah, I would definitely echo that number. I guess I'm impressed. After all this time, and if people listening to this probably heard us, we were
critical.
Critical. We love Shenmue, but we want the best for it. And this isn't the top tier. I mean, I think some Sega arcade games in the Virtua Fighter type fighting system would 10 out of 10, no doubt. But for what we're getting, it looks fun. I'm looking forward to it.
So let us know in the comments below what you guys thought of the Shenmue 3 demo. If you played it or seen gameplay on the internet, we're excited for it, as you could tell. Check out these other videos right here. You guys can click on and see you guys next time on Sega News Bits.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.